Someone picked up a piece of gold worth more than most people would ever own. Perhaps they had carried it for years. Perhaps it had passed through many hands before this moment. And then they folded it, bent it in half. Deliberately, carefully, the way you fold something you are done with. Then they put it in the ground. Not in a grave, not with a body, just in the ground, near a river, under a stone, in a bog, and they walked away. We found it 4,000 years later, still folded, still waiting. The question is not why they buried it. The question is what kind of object gets made, gets used, gets broken on purpose, and then given to no one. It is called a lunula, from the Latin for little moon. The name fits. The shape is a crescent, thin, curved, open at the top. And when you hold one, you are holding something that looks almost exactly like the moon 3 days after new. Not a symbol of the moon, not a representation. The shape itself. They were made in Ireland mostly, starting around 2400 BC. That is before written history reached this part of the world. More than 100 have been found across Western Europe. More than 80 of those came from Ireland. A small island at the edge of the known world, producing some of the earliest and most sophisticated gold objects on the continent. Each one was made from a single piece of hammered gold, beaten flat until it was thinner than a fingernail. Some are astonishingly thin, delicate enough to bend with pressure from the hand. They are large enough to wear as a collar, spanning shoulder to shoulder, and light enough to crumple in your hand. The people who made them left no signature, no workshop, no name, no record. But some archaeologists believe the classical lunulae, the most precise examples, may have come from only a few craftsmen, possibly fewer. Certain tool marks and decorative habits recur on lunulae found hundreds of miles apart. The same proportions, the same decisions about where decoration begins and ends. Objects separated by sea and land, made by the same hands, or hands that learned from the same hands. They have survived 4,000 years. In some cases, they look like they were made last year. Here is the strange part. Archaeologists believe most lunulae were rarely worn, possibly never worn at all, or worn only once for a single occasion and then put away. They are too fragile for regular use, too uncomfortable to wear for long. The terminals, the ends of the crescent, are twisted at right angles to the body, which means the collar sits awkwardly against the neck. Some examples show no wear marks whatsoever, no signs of the small scratches and stress patterns that accumulate on objects handled daily, and almost none have been found in graves. This is unusual. In many Bronze Age burials, valued objects were placed with the dead. Your weapons, your tools, your ornaments, the objects that defined who you were. Lunulae were not buried with anyone, which suggests they did not belong to anyone, not personally. Archaeologists have proposed they were clan property, passed between members, worn at ceremonies, belonging to a group rather than an individual. A few researchers have even wondered whether they were worn by people at all, that they were made for something else, something that did not have a body to bury them with. We do not know. The people who made them left no writing, no explanation, just the object itself, folded and placed in the earth. Look closely at a lunula, and you will see something unexpected. The surface is covered in decoration. Not images, no animals, no figures, no scenes. Instead, geometry. lines so fine they were made with a single pointed tool, pressed into the gold one mark at a time. Hatching, chevrons, cross-hatching, parallel rows that follow the curve of the crescent exactly. Some lunulae contain what appear to be thousands of individual marks. The patterns closely resemble those found on pottery from the same period, the same geometric vocabulary used across different materials, different objects, different purposes, which suggests these patterns may have carried shared meaning beyond decoration. A visual grammar shared across this world. What it meant we cannot say. Whether the patterns identified the wearer or the maker or the occasion or the deity, we don't know. Whether different patterns meant different things, we don't know. One example from Ballinaground had its original decoration deliberately erased, beaten over, and a new pattern applied on top. The object was rewritten, given a new meaning, or a new identity, or a new owner. The old message, almost but not quite gone. Almost, because we can still see it, underneath. Ireland in the early Bronze Age had gold. Its rivers and mountains held enough of it that the island became, for a few centuries, one of the most important centres of early gold working in Europe. And yet, recent analysis has shown that some lunulae, including examples found in Ireland itself, were made from gold that originated in Cornwall, imported, carried across the sea from southwest England to an island that already had its own supply. Why would you import gold to a place that has gold? One answer is practical. Trade networks existed, and materials moved along them. Cornwall exported tin to Ireland. Gold may have moved the same way, as part of the same exchange. But another possibility is harder to dismiss. In many cultures, the origin of a sacred material matters as much as the material itself. Gold from a particular mountain, water from a particular spring, stone from a particular quarry. These things carry meaning that local equivalents cannot replace. It is possible that Cornish gold meant something, that its distance was part of its value, that an object made from metal that had crossed the sea carried a different kind of weight. We cannot prove this, but we know Bronze Age peoples attached meaning to the origins of certain materials and places, and it would explain why someone would go to the trouble. Here is what we know about how lunulae ended. Many were folded, deliberately bent, sometimes multiple times, into a compact shape. This is not damage from burial or time. The folding happened before they went into the ground. It was intentional. Some were found broken. Not accidentally, broken in ways that suggest a controlled, purposeful act. And then they were deposited, not in graves, in bogs, in rivers, under standing stones on open hillsides, in places associated with water or with boundaries, or with the kind of in-between spaces that many archaeologists believe may have been understood as thresholds, where the world of the living came close to whatever lay beyond it. This practice of deliberately destroying an object before offering it appears across many cultures and many periods. One interpretation is that a thing must be taken out of use before it can be given. That an object still in circulation belongs to the living world. To give it truly, you have to end it first. The lunula was made. It was used, rarely, carefully, for occasions we can only imagine. And then it was killed, folded into itself like a closed eye, and given to the earth. Not lost, not abandoned, given. We tend to think of objects as things that survive despite us, that outlast us, that we make and lose and leave behind. But a lunula was not lost. It was placed. Someone made a decision, held this thin crescent of gold in their hands, bent it closed and chose a spot. A bog, a river, a hillside with a stone that had stood there longer than anyone could remember. And they put it down and they left, and that was the end. Except it wasn't. 4,000 years later, someone finds it, pulls it out of peat or soil, holds it up to the light, and it is still there. The shape of a young moon, the marks made by a single pointed tool pressed into gold one line at a time. The deliberate fold that was meant to be the end of it. What was given away came back. What was meant to disappear was found. What was released is kept.